I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. There was a little bit of a mishap. Mr. Market Maker attacked my live stream. So what we were going on about was earlier on, we were doing some live streams with the patrons talking about certain plays and whatnot. But now we're going to go into the breakdown of price action. Man, that's really messed me up, man. I can't believe that has happened. So let's get with the flavor and go with it. So let's go back to Bitcoin. Shit, man. Anyways, so now Bitcoin looking like it's going to start showing a bit of interest in and around these zones right here. Okay, so this is the psychological ranges, the psychological low right there, psychological high. We've got the daily open and last week's low. Now, what we've got to be careful of is this is where we're going to get information about the move. Okay, if we go into the Bookmap and we have a look, we zoom out, that bad boy's still loading up. Oh, my days. There's where that beautiful VWAP comes into play. Look at that. Comes in, sits, and straight takes the VWAP. We'll wait for that to load up. But now Bitcoin looks like it wants to try and come back up. This here is what we call the V-shaped play. Now, the V-shaped play, part and parcel of the hybrid system, suggests that the following is likely to happen. I'm going to break down a bit of a strategy for you. And it only happens when you see an aggressive move. Okay? Now, that aggressive move can be to the downside or it can be to the upside. So you've got a V-shaped play or you've got the A-shaped play, all right? Something like that, okay? But let me just dive into the V-shaped play just to put things into perspective for you, okay? Now, just stick with me on this one. So what constitutes a V-shaped play? Well, it's literally the start of what would appear to be the first leg of a W formation because you've got a W formation like this, yeah? All right, cool. So if you were to just split the screen in half, you would see that that looks like it's starting the second attempt by the market to come back up into the recovery of the zone, okay? So let's get rid of that, and now let's just take the V-shape aspect to it. So price has moved down, all right? The first criteria says that you need to have red vector candles appearing inside of this zone, all right? So important. Why? Because that's how you determine the trap by the market maker, all right? There's your trap right there. Market maker offloads price, keeps going, and it doesn't stop. But when it gets to the lowest point is where you see the principle of three, all right? So let's break it down. Can you see the concept of three right here? All right, well, what do you mean, Tino, man? You're talking breeze right now, bro. What do you mean by three? This is one of the most important things you've got to take into consideration when you're trading. You have to look at the candlesticks. We are limited already to the information that we are given. So we have to think outside of the box. We are trading the unknown, okay? Look at this. This area right here is a cluster, all right? That is where price is forced down, market maker stepping in. This is where he is encouraging traders to get attention to look at the chart, all right? Bitcoin's starting to roll over. So we have the first zone. You see this area here? First vector candle right there. It's bigger on volume. Look down below. Notice on the volume bars, it's starting to rise. So this is where he's grabbing people's attention, okay? Now, this area here, that's the first attempt. Retail's like, yep, it's going down. I'm going to get ready. I'm just going to wait and see if it can actually break the daily open. Bang, it breaks the daily open. The second attempt right here, which is that little vector candle zone, giving you hint that they could actually be slowing it down. What does market maker need to do now? He needs to get the trap sealed because you've got some traders that are feeling a little bit reluctant at that point because they're probably thinking, nah, man, I don't know if it's going to keep on going lower. Nah, you know what? And then you've also got the guys that are thinking, maybe I should go long. What if I need to go long in this zone? All right? The last candle is always going to be the climatic candle. That's that right there. If they mark lower and they have a strong candlestick forcing price through certain levels and volume is higher than the previous candles, you would have what would be called the setup for a V-shaped play, okay? So that's the first criteria of the V-shaped play. We are looking for a sharp move down, and that has been achieved right now with Bitcoin with this move to the downside. And by the presence of three, market maker marks the chart to the downside to get traders to go short. Let's confirm that. Check this out. Let's have a look. Let's run this bad boy right here. And let's confirm that traders are in shorts right now. So let's just zoom in and let's have a look. Here we go. So what have we got? Let's get a bit closer right there. Can we see any shorts coming into play? We've got one short right there. We've got a short right there. Any shorts in here? I'm looking and I'm not seeing shorts. I'm only seeing longs. Oh my days. Look at that. Longs are only being opened right now. Oh, we've got short here, short here, short here. So people are actually stepping in. A short right there, stepping in late to the party. Okay? So now if market maker in principle is going to continue to mark price up to set the criteria of a V-shaped play, this is what we're going to see. We're going to see Bitcoin try and make its way back up to a very significant point in the chart. In relation to the time frame that you're trading, you need to look for a moving average. That moving average is right here, the 50 EMA, okay? That's the next point of interest where it will bring it back into the mean, because the same traders that have been running longs right now on this move to the downside would have realized a bit of profit. But it looks like there are more shorts being opened because what's going on, if we go into this other chart, go to the heat map, they have just flushed the liquidity to the downside. So there's been this imbalance on the way trades have been opened and closed. Okay, look, they've just eaten this liquidity here. We got what? How many liquidations? We have got no liquidations at that point right there. So nearly $1 billion right there at the 28,925. And then we just got shy of a little bit here, another $1 billion at 28,675. We go into the 7-day chart itself, and then we'll put things into perspective there. So look, they still haven't finalized the vectors down at the lows and taken the liquidity. They've got $5.5 billion worth of long liquidations at 26,850. So what's the psychology of what's going on in the chart right now? Is people think it's time to load up on Bitcoin. All right. That's why we're seeing longs being built as prices going lower. So market maker is going to facilitate that opportunity, and he's going to give those traders profits when you think about it, but probably only up until it gets to the 50 EMA. So logically, you would say that if you can see green vector candles coming in at this point, which is the second leg of the actual V shape, that's where you're going to then see Bitcoin move back up and tap the 50 EMA. When it gets to the 50 EMA, that's where you are looking for more information, because in principle, you would be out of the trade, okay? Now, if we go to the 5-minute time frame, look at the 1-minute time frame. Do we see the green vectors? Yes, we do. Look, vectors are coming into play right now. So we've got the criteria on the 1-minute time frame. Green vector zone right there and green vector zone right there. This is quite strong that we've got a rise up, retrace. And what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the proof of the cloud. So if Bitcoin can move away from this cloud zone, happy days. We're going to start seeing Bitcoin move back up and try and get a positive for the day. That would show good strength, okay? So we're going to sit and navigate this for a little while, but we've got to be careful, because if this move does continue lower, they're kind of like giving us clues as what's going to happen later. So keep an eye out on this vector zone. If you make a long and you take and you've got profit, make sure you take some money off the table. I feel like I'm telling you off. Forgive me, but I'm being serious, because we're going to be here every day. We're going to be doing the price action. We're going to see vector candles. We're going to see one point. We're going to see the next point. Looking at the cloud, looking at the 50, looking at the Bookmap. Happy days. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is, like now, they've got the V-shaped criteria coming into play. Are we seeing it? You got the drop to the downside, then you got the reversal back up again. That's what we're looking for. And we know that the 50 EMA on the 1-minute time frame, the 50 EMA on the 5-minute time frame is the 200 EMA. So look at this. We go right there. 5-minute time frame is the 50 EMA right there. So principally, you would assume that that's going to be where Bitcoin's going to stop, because it's been a liquidity run. They've recovered the vectors over here. All the retail traders are pissed off right now because price has taken a nosedive. If you paid yourself, it wouldn't have been a problem. Now those same guys are probably going to start running shorts, and they're running to cover, okay? Because when you sell a short or you get rid of a long, you sell it. When you're covering yourself for a short, you're buying it. So now there's going to be potentially profit taking happening on the move to the downside, which is where Mr. Market Maker is going to be seeing the return on his longs, because the only way that you can short cover is buying. Okay, so that kind of suggests to us that there may have been a lot of people running shorts and they realized the return. And that's what happened with this move. So now we're waiting to see if Bitcoin can sustain the move back up, which is what it's doing right now. Are we seeing vector candles coming into play? I would like to see, look, it's coming away from the cloud. Here is an example of a cloud strategy right here. This cloud, this is important. When you see the patterns, they form the rise, the retrace, the continuation. Happy days. It's working in the criteria of a V-shaped play. We're waiting for that 50 EMA, which is the 200 EMA on the 1 minute time frame. All right. That's how you effectively exploit the idea of a V-shaped play with the hybrid system. And this is all we look for every single day. Look, this should turn into a vector candle. Give me a green vector candle. Still got 30 seconds. If the move means business, then they're going to start working their way through the daily open. I hope it doesn't. There you go. It's a blue vector right now. It's just, there you go. It's a blue vector candle. All right. Hasn't finalized at the highest point, but it's triggered the daily open. There's your green vector. But now we're getting more information. A second ago, it was trading higher. And it wasn't a vector. We wanted it to turn into a vector. Now it looks like it's reversing and changing. You see? Now we're waiting to see if they can hold the test of this zone. Recovery of that red vector zone, recovery of the wick, push it back up again. That's what we look for. This is how you translate the hybrid system indicator. All right? Let's have a look at what else has taken a little bit of a tumble to the downside. There you go. Look at that red vector candle. Bitcoin, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, needs to recover all of this candle for us to say that this move was just a quick shakeout. But I've got a problem. That candle now is a vector. And we know what the green vector candle's about. It's acting as a stopping volume candle. But if they can't get back above the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, we're going to have a bit of a problem. All right? Let's go into Ethereum. See how ETH has fared. So close to our projection of 1749. They've come down and recovered the whole range. Now Ethereum is trying to get back into the psychological ranges themselves. Let's have a look at Bitcoin on the Bookmap. Okay. This is where it gets tricky. Okay. Can you see this area here? All right. That zone right there. So if we take and look at this area, all right. So price between 28,900 and 28,350. Okay. That there, in principle, this zone, if you can see it, let me just expand it out for you. That area there of liquidity, that tells you that that's where people, in principle, could actually get triggered to step in again. What direction? Well, people were selling as prices were going up, okay? So the logic says that it's going to naturally come back up towards that region, so around the 28,700 zone, to trigger the same amount of interest, which in principle would then roll Bitcoin back down if it comes back up to a key area or resistance at the 50. So let's take the midpoint of that range and mark it off at 28,600. Go to the chart in Bitcoin. 28,600 will take us towards this area right here. Okay, so there or thereabouts. Mark off the 28,600 zone. All right, there's that region. Zoom into the chart. What is it? It happens to be within the range of the 50 EMA zone. So then that would be the midpoint. Some of the guys in the Patreon will understand that the vector candle, take 50% of the range itself, on the candle wick itself right there. That is right there. Let me see if that's correct. Yep, that's correct. I was right on that one. So 50% of the candlestick right there sits at or thereabouts the 28,600 zone. So now we've got an area of confluence. Now we've got a point in the chart where we can say, right, a number of things are coming together. So now what do I do from that point? Now, some of you might be saying, you know what? I'm just going to go long, see how it goes. Let's see if it does recover it. Now we've got the vector candle, recovery of that wick, blue vector coming in. So we're now seeing a collective of vectors coming into play, suggesting that the momentum might not be over just yet. Okay, it might still continue. The V-shaped play on the 5-minute time frame looks like it's starting to play out for us. We've got the goal of the 50 EMA at the 5-minute time frame right there, coupled with the midpoint of the vector candle region itself from the whole day, sat right there at the 28,716. On top of that, the 28,607 zone, which happens to be the point in the chart where there was previously orders by people looking to sell. So the logic would say that price continues up towards that point, you would be looking at taking a profit, okay? Alternatively, you could assume that price might actually turn from this point and roll over. You'd only know that if the same guys that stepped in here as sellers will come back in at this point and sell from that point again. Are we all on the same page? Yeah? Now, we'll come back to Bitcoin in a split second, guys. But this was going to happen because of the pressure that the S&P was putting on the marketplace. Look, man, the S&P just didn't stop. Just kept on dropping and dropping and dropping. And remember, today from the VWAP, we were looking at the S&P today on the VWAP. Let me just get EXO Charts up for you. All right. Oh, my days. I can't believe that live ended. Here we go. All right. So, look, this is where price itself started to, where I started to get the logic of the S&P getting ready to roll over. They kept on holding out at the VWAP and they never broke above it with strength. It was a point of resistance throughout the day, all right? So check this out. Here was the VWAP. So important. 2 attempts, all right? You had this area right here, and then you had this area right here, and this is for the S&P. Institutional investors like to sell above the VWAP and buy below it. Just look at it. Can you see it? Now, what usually happens is when you actually expand it out ever so slightly, there's 2 types of ways that you can trade the VWAP, okay? There's the trend of the VWAP, and then there's the rotation. What's a rotation? A rotation, quite simply, is when you've got the VWAP and price moves in between the VWAP, up and down, up and down. But the bands themselves are flat. So there's not that much direction. It's just a trend from one extreme in the chart to the next extreme, but there's no clear definitive direction of price. And that's what you call a rotation. But you can see the S&P has now initiated the direction and rolled over in the session, okay? And these 2 areas here were the heads up that they might actually get ready to roll over. Given that the marketplace itself has had a bit of a problem absorbing what's going on with First Republic, that bad boy is still trading lower, then, you know, it's a bit of a situation for the marketplace, all right? Now, Meta has declared its earnings as well, so we're going to quickly have a look at Meta for a second. Meta Platforms, and the out-of-hours market says to me it's gapped up. Okay, so now Meta is trading at $233, and it probably will move higher as well. So just be mindful of that. From $209 to $233 news announcements. Cool, happy day. So guys, take a look, and it's still climbing. Looks like it still wants to keep on moving up as well. Going into other assets, let's just have a look at Euro for a second. Euro plays the dirty today, man. This is the thing about Forex, all right? It's a beautiful place to be, but you've got to absorb this spiky movement. Stop, run to the upside, brings it back down like clockwork, okay? Classic market maker behavior, okay? Now, go back into Bitcoin for a second. Let's see where we are. Oh, look how close we were to our 50 EMA zone right there. So close. Any vectors? Here we go. Any green vectors? Blue vectors? Still continuing. Violet vector is going to keep going up. It's going to keep on going up. And listen, guys, if you want to learn more about this hybrid system, all right, check out the Patreon. It has its own value, all right? You'll learn the hybrid much more quicker by me highlighting specific zones in the chart that are going to trigger your understanding of it, okay? So when you're looking for V-shaped plays, or you're looking for just cloud play strategies themselves, or you're looking for just pure vector candle strategies, it's all in there, and I talk about it every single day. And we'll be doing another live stream tomorrow after the New York live stream. Pretty much do exactly what we did today, guys, all right? So check that out. Anyways, moving on from that point, we've got things happening across the board right now in the world as such. And we've got this issue with China, okay? And it looks like that there could be an imminent attack on China, all right? Now, this is where you're going to see the issue. They're going to be selling Chinese stock, all right? People in the US want to kind of come away from the relationship with China, all right? And if that comes into fruition and Chinese stock does keep going down, that is listed on the New York stock market, there's a good chance that Xi Jinping is going to pull the dirty. And it's all in favor of the semiconductor business, all right? So go and check out the semiconductor businesses in and around Taiwan, the ones that are listed on the US stock market, but based in Taiwan. There may be an opportunity there, guys. And it's sad. It's all on the back of war, man. And that's the truth, you know? That is the sad truth. Going into this, US economy slowing down. Just look at the freight recession. A freight recession means that there's not many guys delivering anything, okay? That's why oil's prices have dropped. So we go into oil itself, and you can see it's just continuously going down. It's coming back into the candle zone itself, recovering the gap. Look, there's your gap, man. They filled the gap. Complete filling of that gap right there. Unbelievable. And it's going into next vector candles. Got a couple of vector points, but they keep on hitting each of our projections. So as long as oil's going down, that only means what? Dollar should be going up. But that's not the case. Dollar is still showing a little bit of trickery right here. Look, this is dollar on the 5-minute time frame. Again, look at this. What do you see on dollar? V-shaped plays. Okay? You can trade dollar, but you focus on dollar, especially if you're trading Forex. If you start seeing dollar breaking down, you know euro's going up. And if you start seeing dollar consolidating and you get vector candles on dollar and you don't see anything on euro, you can probably predetermine that euro's going to fall if Dixie shows the support, okay? So then we go over to euro itself. Do we see the vectors on euro? Here we go. At the top side, do we have any vectors? There we go. We have a vector. They recover that vector. They do the same thing on Dixie, all right? But you know that at the lowest point, that's where they're picking up dollar, all right? Because they've been buying it. Yet on euro, you know, retail trader, because retail ain't going to be doing it this way. He comes to the charts and trades it like as it's just contracts for difference. But you've got investors that will exchange dollars to euros. Or they'll exchange euros to dollars. So if they're going to buy European stock, they take their dollars or borrow dollars, and then they'll exchange it for euros. All right? That increases the value of the euro. Flip side, if they don't want the euros anymore, they're going to sell those euros, inflate the value of the dollar, and then put it into cash or American stock. All right? That's the only relationship you need to be focusing on if you're trading euro, and of course, using dollar dominance as a means to understand direction. All right, gold. Gold right now, still consolidating. It's consistent with accumulation. They've come back into our vector candle region right here. Didn't take it all, but they've come back into the zone, okay? Still accumulating. I'll be straight with you. Going to the higher time frames, if gold does break, if we are finding another one, the strategy, here we go. Look, so you've got a moving average right here, and now gold is holding within the 3-hour time frame. Look, it's holding at the upper band, the lower band. It's now trading below at the lower band. If they break this point and they don't trade into it, because you can see the moving averages are compressed, gold's coming down. You need to see them break above the cloud to determine a direction, because then the momentum will step in and then you'll see the slight retrace continuation to the upside, like so. But if they can't achieve it above the cloud, it's now down, retrace, continuation lower. That's what we're looking at, okay? Going into other assets, have a look at XRP. Oh, my days. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen by the principle of the hybrid system? How many of you looked at that and said, yeah, maybe that could be an opportunity? Yeah? There's a wick that needs to be recovered because there's an imbalance right there. There are orders, people waiting around in this zone. So that's something for the future, okay? Let's just have a look at Bitcoin for a second. 5-minute time frame. Now, look how close we are with our V-shaped play. Now look, it's starting to pull back. Go to the 1-minute time frame. We're now waiting to see, is this the end of the V-shaped play? We're coming in and testing this cloud. What do we need to see Bitcoin do? We need to see Bitcoin hold this point, come back up into the red vector, the violet vector zone. That's what we're waiting for. So this is where you see the reason to buy or the reason to sell. If you've already taken a long and you're now at a point in the chart where you're saying, you know what, I favor that it's going to keep on going up, where in the chart would give you a reason to believe it's going to hold? Two things. The violet vector candle right there suggests that they're going to come back up and try and recover that point. Let's see if that comes into play. We're at the daily open right now, okay? And for the day after Bitcoin's drop, it's now back to the daily open. Happy days. That's a good sign, okay? Now, if they break beyond this cloud, then Bitcoin's coming down because they've given us a clue that it's going to likely come and test this area again, which is the green vector candle region. But this right here is a green vector candle continuation. Look at that. Okay? Comes up, recovery, continuation. Now we want to see if they can hold the cloud. And that's all you need to do. That's all you can do when you're breaking down the unknown. Look, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't. But what I'm seeing is prices above the cloud. It's made a move from the downside. Now it's starting to recover back up. I know the market has absorbed a lot of liquidity. So naturally, they need to bring it back into the fray. They need to reverse it. There has to be balance in the marketplace. So I then look at the chart and I say, okay, maybe back into the violet vector. Well, I need to make sure that as long as Bitcoin stays inside of this zone, I have to give myself a tolerance. Okay, what's my tolerance? I'm going to close my long and keep preserving my profit if it breaks within this zone, because that sits inside of the cloud. If that does not get violated, I don't need to close my trade. So then I'm playing the game now. I'm waiting. Can it do it? Let's drop a time frame, 15-second chart. What am I seeing on the 15-second chart? Ooh, red vectors tried to break down but didn't succeed. Now we're back into the upper band of the cloud on the 15-second time frame. Now listen, the 15-second time frame is fast. Got traders in the Discord that look at the 1-second time frame. That to me is madness, but there's a sweet science behind it. And that's what some of the guys have worked out in there. Okay? So now looking, 15-second, it's holding this cloud. So now I'm just playing the game now. Okay, should I hold this long? Should I? We had the logic of the V-shaped play and it's starting to play out. Do we assume any reason to believe that price is going against us? Do we see it? No. Should we think about it? No. Because you're then worrying about something that doesn't exist. You walk down a road. You can see in front of you, there's absolutely nothing. Why are you thinking about something popping up out of nowhere and trying to bite you, eat you, knock you out, cut your head off, do some madness, whatever? It's thinking of the unknown. Like, why are you scared of something? False evidence appearing real and all of that madness, but it's true. You're trying to make sense of something that isn't there, but you have information that could suggest that the probability of it going further in your favor is going to continue. So what reason do we have to sell? We don't, because they stayed within our region. They stayed within our tolerance. We broke it down and said, yeah, maybe they're going to come back up into this violet vector candle zone. Maybe they're going to come and hit that 200 EMA on the 5-minute time frame, which is the 50 EMA. Sorry, the 50 EMA on the 55-minute time frame, which is the 1-minute time frame, 200 EMA. You get the drift, okay? This is how you manage a trade. You got to think of the psychology of yourself and other traders, because there are guys that are messed up right now. There are guys banging their heads saying, I should have taken some profits. And they're probably fighting the market right now. So Bitcoin will naturally try and trail upwards, okay? We're going into the start of a new hour in principle. So naturally, we expect Bitcoin. They've recovered the vector and they're holding on the hourly candle. Cool. So now we're getting information about the 50 now. You see? So when you're in a long or in a short, taking these little bits of information are going to serve you at helping you stay away from being emotional in your trading. Emotional trading is, oh my days, man, I've been liquidated, or I'm so close to my liquidation, I've used too much leverage. Please, Bitcoin, don't drop too much. Please, please, please. You start praying and listen, there are no prayers in the marketplace, guys. It's been designed to just eliminate bias. It's about the flow of liquidity. It's just good. It's waves. You're riding the zephyrs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you're doing, okay? You have to be rational with your trading. Market maker can be irrational for as long as he wants because he knows where he's going to send price, okay? Now, 15-minute time frame. Are we all on the same page, ladies and gentlemen? Are we all on the same page? I hope we're getting that idea about how to manage a trade, okay? And it all do the same thing that I just did on any time frame, all right? You might think, oh, Tina, that's the 1-minute time frame. I'm not a scalper. Cool, go on to the 15-minute time frame. Do it from there. Because all we're doing is, we're just talking about fractals in principle, because whatever's happening on the smaller time frames is representing for the bigger time frames and whatnot. There's moving averages, which are represented by different moving averages, but they're all in line with each other. There's going to be a reaction, okay? Work the 15, work the 5-minute, the 10, the hour, the 4, the 15, whatever you want. But as long as you have that mindset of thought, you eliminate putting yourself into an emotional state. if you're having to question whether or not Bitcoin's going to go in your favor and you're going to make money, or you're going to lose money if it goes down to a specific point, and you are reacting because of the monetary value that it will hit you at, you're not seeing trading rationally. You're not thinking systematically or objectively. You're thinking emotionally. You get heart rates going up, pulse is going, it's going madness for you. You ain't going to make a decision that's logical. That's the sweet spot about emotions. With logic, you can't be emotional. It's going up, cool, it's going up. But why should you be excited about it? It's just moving up. You can take profit or move and take advantage of the direction either way. Avoid the emotions. I'm not saying you can get rid of them. Just manage them, all right? Cool. What have we got here? What have we got here? This is just people. This is just wisdom, talk, my experience. You know, take what you can from it, all right? But I'm not aiming it at anyone. It's just a logic, a thought process, my opinion on the marketplace of trading as such. So moving forward from there, ladies and gentlemen, got Violet Vector right there. Okay, moving forward from that, going into Asia this evening, again, like I said to you, you've got to be careful in this zone. It's been a bit of a manipulative play. And tonight, the S&P, given that the S&P has finished right now, Meta has declared positive expectations in earnings. So we're probably going to see the S&P try and make a recovery back up. That would then be led by Bitcoin's move back up as well. But again, just remember, it's now 10:15. So in terms of Forex, the markets are going to be a little bit tricky. Okay? This is where the spreads start to widen out. And you don't want to be trading then. You wait until Hong Kong. What do I mean by that? So go to Bitcoin, all right? This is the zone that you're looking to trade. Here. See this area here? The start of this area is Sydney, all right? Sydney session. When you get to Hong Kong, which is about Tokyo, Hong Kong, 1 o'clock in the morning GMT, and then 2 o'clock in the morning GMT, that's when Hong Kong and Tokyo are both open. That's when the moves start to get interesting. So aim to get your trades open within that time frame, all right? I don't like to encourage anyone to trade the Sydney or the Hong Kong or the Asian session, but we're probably going to get a reaction this evening that you must be very careful of. But I hope you can take something from this live with the information, because tomorrow we're going to be bringing the same flavor to you again, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, again, forgive me for the first part of the live stream where it disconnected. Market Maker's got it in for me. But look, today's a classic example of why you should pay yourself, okay? Always take the money. When you start getting a little bit concerned about it, you take the money and start again, all right? Going into Asia this evening, we do have some key news announcements coming out tomorrow, which is the unemployment claims, all right? It is Thursday, yes. Thursday tomorrow, unemployment claims. So it's going to be a market mover, all right? So just prepare yourselves for that. If it does show more people are claiming benefit, the economy is slowing down, people are going to be seeking cash. That means the value of dollar will go up, assets against the US dollar will come down. Be sure to like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. I've got nothing but love for you all. And I will see you tomorrow in the New York live stream, 2 p.m. GMT for that flavor, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace.